to another video. So last update, the last video you guys would have saw was the post-hospital situation. So quick update on that. Real good. No issues to speak of this week. No episodes of pain, nothing bugging my stomach, just basically like nothing happened. So as far as I know, there's no real follow-up or stuff that we need to do right now. I guess just if it happens again, obviously we look into things further. But I can't remember if I mentioned it in the video, but they did find in my CT scan, they found a cyst on my liver, but they said it was benign, and ideally it stays that way, and we'll just truck on as usual. So yeah, this week no issues. Outside of that, today, Friday the 19th of June, 10 weeks from the wedding. So that is the rationale behind the cut, is to get in a little bit better shape for the wedding, feel a little bit better, look a little bit better, obviously. I weighed this morning 185.3, which is up from last week. I was 184. Mind you, that 184 was after the whole episode and 3 or 4 days of not eating as much and not working out as much. So a little bit of a rebound, but I think I'm still going to make a bit of a calorie adjustment, just a little bit. Probably drop a little bit of carbs. We'll kind of confirm that with myself today. I'm still eating 3,000 calories, and I've been running that update for 4, 5, 6 weeks now. So a little bit of a drop's not going to hurt me. I'll probably just pull the rice out of my fourth meal. There's a little bit of rice there, which would equate for probably 30 carbs or so. So I'll probably just cut that out and then truck on everything else per usual. So we're walking Herc right now, getting him his little morning walk in. I've had my first meal, so we're going to train. Today is chest and arms. I actually had my second appointment for my back tattoo being removed. I had that on Wednesday. So yesterday I didn't train, obviously. It was a rest day anyway, so I kind of lined that up on purpose. Wednesday morning before I went, I did legs, so I got those done. So today, chest and arms shouldn't really be an issue. Shouldn't be any anything bothering my back. Obviously, I'm just going to be mindful of putting my back against the bench when I do things. So you might see my form just a little bit different than maybe I would normally do on certain movements. But that's just because I don't want to rub my back against the bench. It doesn't hurt per se. It just kind of feels like a sunburn more than anything. And today I'll take my bandages off, and then I can leave them off. You have to kind of keep it like bandaged up for day or two afterwards, just putting like polysporin on, just because you don't want to get infected or anything like that. But yeah, so we're going to finish this walk and we'll get into the workout. Okay, it's been a long while since I've done a voiceover in these videos, so I'm going to give you guys a quick little walkthrough of the workout. So we're starting chest off with a cable chest press. I've mentioned this before in previous videos, but this is a movement that A, I really connect with my chest, and B, it does not cause me any shoulder or pec pain, which is something that prior to implementing this movement was something I dealt with a lot. So I'm happy to see that I found a chest movement that is pain-free. So for this session, we did 3 sets, kept it standard for the first 2 sets, just pretty straight sets of 12 to 15, starting with a higher rep range for those, and then I did a lighter set up around 20 reps for the third set. Next movement was a Smith press. You can see it is paused. I just had to reset my hands on that first rep, but I have the pins there, you can see, and I'm pausing at the bottom. So I did 2 sets, 1 heavy set, which you're seeing here, and 1 lighter set, higher rep range on the lighter set. And this Smith machine is super smooth, but the bar is heavy. I think it's either a 50 or 55 pound bar. So even 2 plates there for 5 reps was quite the challenge. And then third movement, we went to just a pretty standard cable fly, leaning forward and thinking about just driving my elbows together. On these, I prefer fly movements, a little bit higher rep range, so somewhere around the 12 to 15 rep range. And then actually to finish my chest off, I went to push-ups after the third set and just did as many reps as I could to failure just to kind of really fatigue the chest. After that, we moved to arms. So what I've been doing, which is something that my coach advised me to do, just as a little bit of a change up. I've been running with this kind of setup for arms for quite some time now, but for the first two movements, they're supersets for the same muscle group. So instead of supersetting bicep and tricep, they're actually supersetting 2 bicep and 2 tricep. So we're starting with an easy curl bar, somewhere around the 15 rep range. But on these, the key is to stop a couple reps shy of failure, because you're going to do another, bicep movement right after, which is the incline curl here. So the incline curl I'll take closer to failure, since it's the second movement, but the first one I'll keep a little bit shy of failure. So both of these are really good. They kind of challenge the bicep in different ranges. The incline curl really challenging the bottom range, which you're not getting as much from the easy bar curl. So 3 sets for that. Then for triceps, we're going to start with dumbbell kickbacks, which is something that my coach is quite the fan of. So on these ones, there's no real tension at the bottom, but at the top, you're getting that really peak contraction with your triceps. So in the lengthened range, there's not much, but in the shortened range, they get nasty. So same thing as with the easy bar curls, staying a couple reps shy of failure. And then we go right into bar press downs as the second movement, which I'll take closer to failure. This angle, this grip, whatever you want to call it, I'm a big fan of. I connect with it really well. You get a really good contraction at the bottom and a good stretch at the top. And just the way my elbow is out from my side, I don't know exactly what it is about this kind of setup, but versus using a straight bar or something, this feels a lot better. Then we go into the third superset, this time 1 for bicep, 1 for tricep. So starting with rope overhead extensions to really get that lengthened range, that big stretch at the bottom for the triceps here. So I like to mess with elbow placement when it comes to arms. So you'll see, here we have the elbow up, weight overhead. With the press down, the elbows were more in front of us, and with the kickbacks, the elbows were behind us. So playing around with that stuff definitely helps, and it's definitely made my arms progress. And then after the rope extensions, went into hammer curls, so really hitting that brachialis, brachioradialis, and obviously some biceps as well. And alternating arms on this one just to try to avoid using too much momentum. And then just because I know my triceps need a bit more work, finishing with these, I just call them lateral head extensions because Coach Kassam, N1 Training, has kind of coined these as being really good for the lateral head of your tricep, which in my opinion, on me, needs some work. So I just did 2 sets, kind of around the 12 to 15 rep range to finish. So that was the workout. It was a good one. And yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next clip. All right, so that's the workout. Good session. Ooh, I got some mad hat hair going on. Good session overall. Everything felt good. I'm just going to do some posing now, but figured I'd show you guys. I don't know if I can get this off. Oh my. If you guys have ever used like medical tape, that shit hurts when you take it off. Okay, so I don't know. The lighting is terrible. You see that? See how red that is? So, I don't know if you can see back there. So that whole piece is going to be gone eventually. So that was session 2. Unfortunately, the lockdowns really delayed the process of it all. So I have to wait 8 weeks between sessions. I honestly don't remember when my first one was. It was definitely longer than 8 weeks ago. I think my second one was supposed to be like March. Here we are in June because of all the lockdowns. So I went in. Yeah, you can't really see it very well. I went in again on Wednesday, and they did another round. It looks a lot worse than it is. It feels just like a sunburn, but it'll start to fade again here in the next couple of days. And my next one, so 10 weeks from right now is the wedding. The next one obviously was going to be 8 weeks. which was like 2 weeks before the wedding, and I was like, probably not a good idea. So I booked it for the following Monday. So it's August 30th, I believe, is my next one, which would put me then, so we say like August, then you have all of September. So basically end of October, we'll go again. Then November, then like December, January, and then, you know, February-ish, March. So hopefully I'll have, you know, another 4 sessions or so in before I intend to compete again next year, which would put that quite a bit faded. I don't think it'll be fully gone, but you figure with, you know, fading it and then a tan from competing, it should be very much, you know, not easily seen, which is ideally the goal. So yeah, I'm going to do some posing. I'll take a little clip of that, and then I'll catch up with you guys at some point later. My face above the water, my feet can't touch the ground, and it feels like I can see the sands on the horizon at times. You are not around, I'm slowly drifting away, wave after wave, wave after wave. I'm slowly drifting, and it feels like I'm drowning, pulling against the stream, pulling against the stream. Okay, we here at work. We've got about 45 minutes before the actual work day starts. So we've got post-workout meal on deck, 100 grams of pineapple, we've got 70 grams of Cheerios, and we've got 2 scoops of protein. So if you've been following these videos, that has not changed and likely will not change for the foreseeable future. I quickly just want to talk about the show that happened 2 weeks ago now. Yeah, June the 5th. I mentioned it in the last video, the IDFA International Cup, but at that time we did not have the results, but now we do. So I'm going to post some photos on screen. We're going to start with Leah. This was her first competition. She had originally intended to do a show within the CPA, but that didn't happen because of the whole global situation. The show got postponed, moved around, as have all the actual in-person shows up until August. It looks like things are going to fire up again. But when we had this opportunity to do the show online on June 5th with the IDFA, she wanted to jump on it. You know, as a first-time competitor, this is a good option to honestly get a little bit of like competitive experience, but a lot less stress, and you know, financially it's a little bit nicer on the wallet. So anyways, so, you know, very excited to announce that she won the novice class and came second in the open class. So super proud of Leah. She's worked extremely hard over the course of this prep. She's stuck to things. She hasn't, you know, complained. She's not wavered from the plan, and, you know, her results speak to that. Next up we have Caden. Similar situation to Leah, where, you know, we had planned to do you know, a real in-person live show, but when that couldn't happen, this was a very viable second option. So Caden, you know, prior to working with me, he'd lost a bunch of weight, and then, you know, wanted to take the next step as far as competing. So that's when we started working together. So over the course of this prep for this show, he lost around 15 pounds. He was already like reasonably lean when we started, I think around 185, and then the low we saw was, I think, like 171 was like the lowest. So right around that 15-pound mark. Again, you know, same as Leah, like super proud of Caden. He's worked extremely hard. You know, he really wanted this, and, you know, when the shows got moved around and this was an option that we could take, he jumped all over it. He came first in novice and then fourth in a very competitive open bodybuilding class. I was quite, you know, pleasantly surprised to see the quality that showed up to this online event, because it was a good lineup for him. So although you're not side by side on stage, you know, with the photos and everything, you're able to kind of, you know, get a good idea of where you stack up against other competitors, and he was definitely the youngest competitor in that lineup, and probably in the show, being only 19 years old. And, you know, I said to him, you look light years better than I did at 19, so the future is very bright for Caden. We're going to now transition to the off season, which we've started with the goal of probably looking to see the stage again next fall. So take a good, you know, 12 to 14, 15 months of gaining and really, you know, packing on some muscle, right? As I mentioned, you know, he's spent some time losing weight prior to working with me. We did the prep. Now we're going to get on the other side of the game with building and putting on some muscle. You know, as a whole, his physique, you know, again, it is much better than mine was at 19, but there's obviously some areas that can definitely use some more attention. His legs are quite good, which is surprising because usually it's the other way around, especially for younger competitors. They don't do legs a whole lot. But with Caden, I think if we can just put on a lot more mass as a whole, but specifically, you know, if we can add some thickness to his back and his chest, I think that'll really bring his look up. And then, you know, hopefully next fall we actually get to step on stage. And last but not least, my client Jeff. You guys, you know, if you follow me, you guys would know Jeff by now. He's a good friend of mine. He's a client that I've been working with for quite some time. We competed for the first time last year in October, I think, September or October, where he did extremely well. And this show was very much the same. Jeff won the novice for men's physique. You know, he competed before, but within different organizations. If you have not competed there before, you can do a novice again, because, you know, judging criteria can be somewhat different. Posing is different, definitely, from what he did before. So we opted to do the novice, which he won. Then he did the open class, which again he won, and that actually earned him his IDFA Pro card. He then entered the pro class by winning the pro card, and he ended up winning that as well. So, you know, clean sweep by Jeff. Man looks amazing. You know, he brought a very much improved physique when comparing his last time on stage. So I was very happy about that. He brought, you know, a bit more weight, but in, you know, arguably better condition. I think we were 4 or 5 pounds heavier for this show, which compared to, you know, just being on stage in like September, October last year, it's not a lot of time, but he's worked hard and it shows. So plan for him now is to off season. We were gonna maybe look at competing again, but we think that off season is gonna be the better option, and then look to compete again next year, make his official like pro debut, you know, actually competing on stage versus the online pro debut. And then he might take a stab at a WMBF show with myself next year, which would be really exciting. So yeah, I always want to close the video out with you know, acknowledging how well they all did. I'm extremely proud of all 3 of them, and you know, the future is bright for all 3 of them, and I look forward to, you know, continue to work with them and improve them as athletes. So yeah, if you guys made it this far in the video, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.